Folks, welcome to So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey. This is your pal Ryan, and this is your Wednesday episode. Man, I have been so confused all day because of that Labor Day. You would think, being this old, you would be able to figure out that, yeah, Monday was Labor Day. And I've just had the feeling that all day today was Monday. And now I'm just super confused. And I logistically know that it's Tuesday, but it still feels like Monday. And it feels weird that tomorrow's Wednesday. I don't know how I'm gonna survive, you guys. How are you? Are you good? Weird. I don't know, man. Something in the air today. Just felt I felt like out of my body all day. I had to do a bunch of interviews, and that was a blast. But it was just I felt out of my body all day. Anyways, tomorrow I'm interviewing a bunch of the cast of the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, which comes out on Hulu this Friday. All 8 episodes. I finished the season. Um, 2 days ago. Really, really interesting. I can't wait to hear what you guys think when you get your eyes on it and tell me if you like it or not. But I thought it was really interesting, something different. But just reality shows, man, wild. I've been thinking about the cult of celebrity a lot, as I always do every day. And just what it takes to be famous these days. And we've talked about it before. We've talked about that Hawk Tuah girl. Her name's Haley Welch, I believe. And she was, is from a very, very small town. And she was out bar hopping one night. And one of these like TikTok dudes, like with a microphone, was just interviewing people and interviewed this girl, and literally she just said something during the course of an interview of like, you got to get on that thing, you got to in reference to a sexual act. And that clip just exploded. It exploded. And now she is everywhere. If you're online, she's everywhere. She's gone on every kind of influencer podcast. She's been getting some brand deals. And then today, the reason I bring this up is because she signed with Jake Paul's podcast network. And I mean, this is kind of a genius podcast title. Her podcast title is called Talk to Her. So Hawk to it, talk to it. Like, I'm sorry, man. That's funny as hell. Talk to her. I'm Haley. You come talk to her. But I just thought, how random. You know, there was a time when celebrity, it came from acting, singing, dancing, being an athlete, all of these different forms where you worked really hard at something. And then I think reality TV was one of the big things that helped kind of bring personality into it, of like the personality of yourself, the self star, if you will. And that's really exploded. But I just find it so bizarre that this girl now has a full on career in the entertainment industry. And a lot of people said, as Andy Warhol's famous quote of, everybody will have their 15 minutes of fame. The big thing is, oh, well, this is her 15 minutes of fame. Let's see how long she can keep that going. But I will tell you, it's already lasted a lot longer than I think I even thought it would. So who knows? But how flippin' random is that? I think that's so interesting. But it also is kind of dangerous in the sense that kind of inspires more people. Like, how many people in your life, think about it. Do you know anybody in your life that said, "Hey, I'm going to try to be an influencer now"? I have a couple of my friends in my life that have like, I really want to be an influencer, and they've been trying for years. And I think it's one of those things that is like, I mean, sure, it's you, but there's also just so many other factors. And I think luck being a huge part of that. I mean, you can't really plan fame. You can't plan any of that. And I don't know if you'd want to plan fame. I mean, the closest people to plan fame, I think, are the Kardashians, because I think there really was a well oiled machine at a certain, like, I mean, a full on blueprint at some point Chris Jenner was following to get where they are today. But it just, I don't know. I don't know what lessons to take from this. I don't know what it shows you, but we live in very, very weird times. Or does everybody, did cowboys back in the 1900s be like, we live in very weird times? Like, does everybody just feel that about the time that they live in? But it just feels so weird. And the thing is, it's like, it's because we all, the conversation never stops. It never stops here on this podcast or the billions of other podcasts that are out there. It never stops on TikTok. It never stops on YouTube. It never stops on our phone. We are so plugged in 24/7. And then we're so used to that when we get unplugged, we feel like there's something wrong. We feel itchy. We're like, it's like I need the drug. I need the drug. Give it to me. Like, I don't know what I would legitimately do without a TV for a week. Oh my God, would that should be an experiment. I was gonna say we should film it, but then I was like, that's kind of close to having a TV. Let's put it, everything needs to be on camera these days too. Well, and the other reason I speak about this um, is I want to talk a little bit about Real Housewives of Orange County. Before we get to our fabulous, fantastic flipping guest, we have Emma Guns today. And if you don't know her, you're about to know her. If you already love her, great. If you don't, I think you're about to love her. She's overseas. She has one of the best speaking voices that I've heard in a long time. She has a fantastic podcast called The Emma Gunn Show, which I think I'm going to be on very soon, and I'm very excited to continue our conversation. But she's just fantastic. I've been following her on Instagram for a couple of years, and it's the first time that we got to talk, and we just went everywhere. Like she came up in like fashion editing, and I mean, I think she does kind of everything. She has so many good stories. We talk about housewives, we talk about celebrity, we talk about, I mean, just the conversation goes everywhere. And it's kind of a longer conversation, about like an hour and 25 minutes. And I like those that you kind of just let it go. For me, I like that. I know podcasting, I do the opposite of what a lot of people do, where you're supposed to do really quick hits, like 45 minutes or less, or some people now, the big thing is like 20-minute podcasts, which is great. And I'm sure it's great for you guys because you have things to do, but I don't know. I like I like length. I like I like lamp. I like length. I do. I like it. And I think, you guys, it's well documented that sometimes I just it's hard for me to have conversations in my real life. So it's like a fantastic time to get to know people and to share in this common love that we have for pop culture and these things that we watch. And I don't know, there's something so exciting and magical in that for me. So hopefully you guys share a little bit of the same views as I do, and you'll really enjoy it. But before that, I wanted to get to Tamra Judge, and Vicki Gunvalson has made her way into the chat again, because even though we have season 18 of Real Housewives of Orange County on the air right now, and it's a fantastic flipping season, so good, I feel like there's another season happening behind the scenes on social media. And it kind of ties into what I'm saying about everything needs to be in front of a camera at all times. Okay, so Tamra, I think I mentioned this on Monday's show with Sophie, or I don't know, but Tamra let us all know that she gave herself a facelift. Well, she didn't give it to herself. She for her birthday she gave herself a facelift. She didn't do the work herself. I mean, maybe she did. Maybe that's why it's healing weird. But no, she went and got a facelift, which is very normal, especially in the housewives game. I mean, Caroline Stanberry from Dubai got one last year. Shannon Bedore allegedly owes $75,000 to Johnny J for one she got a couple of years ago. And by the way, Shannon Bedore looks fantastic. So Tamara, I hope you went to Shannon Bedore's guy. And by the way, in other words, why does none of these ladies go to Terry DeBro? I feel like he would be the one to go to. It would be like scratch your back, I'll scratch mine kind of thing. Take my nose off and I'll scratch your. Anyways, the point is Tamra did this and she's very open about it. I think Tamra never has a problem with being open about things to a degree. And so she shared her facelift journey and she started posting shots immediately afterwards. And the first one, she looked like the Incredible Hulk. She like had a green. A lot of people compared her to the Wicked Witch and Wicked. A lot of people said very many things about her look because it just looked greenish. It looked like she ate like bad chicken or something. And that's to be expected. Like, and I will say the only reason I'm commenting on this is because she's very comfortable with showing all of us this. And I think it's because no matter how she looks right now, at the end of all of this, she's going to look amazing. I mean, she will look like $1,000,000. I guarantee you she's going to look amazing. But I think it's part of the bit. Like Tamra, she considers herself pretty funny. So I think she's kind of being funny. And so she's showing us her progress every day. And I got to tell you, today, it looked like Freddy Krueger. It looked like that Two-Face guy from the Dark Knight movie, with the acid, half the face. I mean, skin's peeling off. I mean, it's just like she's molting or something. And I was like, God, is this bad vibes peeling off of Tamra? But this is normal for the work that she had done. And like I said, I know it's going to be a beautiful. I think it would be funny. I know they're filming the reunion in a couple of weeks, but I was like, they should like prank Tamra and say the reunion got bumped up this week, and she has to film with the facelift. I'm healing. It's my opinion. So she is in there healing, but she's showing us all of this. So she has no problem. And sometimes, a lot of people, I'm sure people are making fun of her. I'm making fun of it. And I think, there's good-natured ribbing in that. But she's laid up in bed and she did like a Q&A on her Instagram. And I guess a lot of people asked her about her relationship with Victoria Gunvalson. Now, we just had Christian Gray Snow on the podcast last week, and he has a fantastic new podcast with Miss Gunvalson that is out right now. So he does this podcast with her called My Friend, My Soulmate podcast, and it's really good. I've listened to a bunch of episodes, actually. But they just released a new one, and she had some really strong words about Tamra. And I'm going to play this. I'm going to play like 4 minutes of this, but I strongly recommend you go listen to this podcast, subscribe. Seems like there's a lot of, by the way, when I hear this and when I hear, I'm going to play you Tamra's reaction as well. And when I hear all of this together, all I think is, why don't we have this on camera? Why is this not in the season? To me, this just landed Vicki a full-time role on Real Housewives of Orange County next season. I'm like, oh shit, she's like clocked in. And if you think about it, the way Tamra is going this season, from what we see on the film, not from anything behind the scenes, from what we see, you kind of almost need some people to come up against Tamra because she's so good at what she does, but she's not having to really face any. She always, so for somebody saying that Shannon is always the victim, she kind of comes off as always saying that she's the victim. So it would be interesting to have other people on there that would be really willing to get into strong conversations with her about certain behaviors that she's had on this show. And I think, like I said, Tamra is a necessary character on Orange County. I hope she stays for as long as she wants to stay. I think she is. I think she really revitalized Orange County. And like I said, I'm loving this season. I'm loving it. But let me play you this first. And like I said, it's a long clip, so bear with it. But I think it's necessary. And then we will play Tamra's reaction. Okay.
Like that one party that Gina had that Tamra was yelling at Shannon. We're all dressed up in
the dinner.
Shannon,
they're talking about that dinner from a couple episodes ago.
Tamra called Shannon a cunt. You and I talked about that, and I think they cut that out. And I went outside and I said to Tom, our producer, I said, I don't know what's going on here. Why is Tamra so upset with Shannon? He's like, we don't really know. It didn't pertain to her. Go back out there and tell them this has got to stop. Women don't treat women this way. I said, that's in my core of who I am. Mm-hmm. But these women are supposed to be friends, and also they're doing a job together. Why is Tamra so involved in what Shannon went through? And I couldn't get an answer from Tamra. Like, why are you making this about you? Because she needs to, because she doesn't have anything going. She won't expose her and Eddie's real problems in their marriage. Oh, because their marriage is perfect? Doubt it. She won't talk about Sydney, who she hasn't seen in years. She doesn't talk. Listen, if my daughter,
that's why she's hateful to other people, because then it scares them to bring up that shit, because they know they see what's coming their way if they bring it up. You know what I mean? I think that's why
my daughter didn't talk to me, I'd be on a flipping plane right now, knocking on her door, begging her for forgiveness, and I don't even care what I did. Sydney has a very strong opinion of Tamra. Stop embarrassing the family. Stop doing what you're doing. Get off the show and we have a chance. Tamra did none of that. So you know what? That shows Sydney, I'm not important to you. I don't care about my money, my stuff, I care about my family, my daughter, my people in my life. So that's the problem. Is just one thing. Mom, stop swearing at people. Stop doing stupid stuff. And then let's have a conversation. But even when Tamra was off for 2 years, she never connected with Sydney. And Sydney's a beautiful daughter. She hasn't seen her and been with her.
She said on a recent episode that she saw her, I think, at Sophia's graduation, and she thought they were going to maybe, because she said it was, I think, a decent exchange. But then she said Sydney stopped responding to texts after that. Does she talk to you about this as a friend?
No, she just every now and then when she was crying in somebody's arms this season, it's like, oh, please. It's just like the thing in Ireland when she was crying on, Shannon's arm.
Okay, so that goes on for a lot longer, but we'll cut it off there because I think we got what we needed. So, okay, so this is on that the podcast is good, you guys. It's got a lot of stuff, and Christian is really good at kind of just keeping it on track. Okay, now Tamra, and I wish you guys could see the visual of this, but you can see it online on Instagram and Twitter. I think Twitter is the first place I saw it, but she posted it on Instagram. Because when you're healing from your facelift or whatever it is, uh, acid peel, you're doing a Q&A. So she did a Q&A, and this is Tamra.
Hey guys, I love answering all your questions, but I'm getting bombarded with this Vicki shit. Like, I don't give a shit. This woman is disgusting in every sense of the word. To go after my family and everything, that's what she does. I don't know why she's doing it. Maybe she needs a little attention. Maybe someone needs to pet her back like a little puppy, but I'm not going to do it. Listen, I'm not going to take parenting advice from a woman that chose her boyfriend Brooks over her own daughter, a woman that had a boyfriend that told Ryan he should beat his wife to keep her in line and to stay with him. Like, to me, that's disgusting. What has happened in my relationship through my divorce and my kids is very tragic and sad. And for her to even talk about it is disgusting. So Vicki, go away. Leave me alone. I'm going to ask you for the last time. Leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
Nobody cares what you have to say. Ever. Go away.
Okay, well, we do care what she has to say for the most part. Don't go away forever. No, you're in the Housewives. You're here until the end of time. That's how this goes. Okay, so all of this, is very commonplace on the Housewives show. And that's why I say, man, why don't we just have this on camera and duke it out there? I mean, we can already see that the reunion is going to be insane, especially if Tamara's face heals on time. But I mean, listen, this is sad in so many ways. But this is the game of Housewives. This is what you do. You get personal, you talk trash, you make up, you rinse, you repeat. But I will say that Tamra, for being such a smart housewife, and I know I got a lot of flack for calling her smart on Saturday's recap, but I really do think she is. But in these instances, she lacks a certain kind of self-reflection that makes it hard to empathize with her when she brings up so many personal things. I mean, just this season alone with the John Jansen, with playing like kind of both sides in this most recent episode. So it's really hard, especially when she has chosen to make her one daughter part of her storyline and talk about the, non-relationship she has with her other daughter with Simon. And, she's cried on camera about it and, very personal, but if you bring that up on camera, it's going to be something that people unfortunately talk about. And Vicki at one point was Tamra's best friend or best housewives friend. I don't even know how you would necessarily classify their relationship, but I think even in terms of housewives, they were still really, really good friends. And this is Vicki saying that. Now, of course, you can throw so many things back in Vicki's face. You can throw the Brooks thing. You can throw, of course. And that's why it's interesting. I just wish, oh my God, I don't know what I wish, but it's like, wow, the girls are fighting. The girls are out there. And I'm like, you've got 24 hours to respond, Vicki. I was kind of blown away by that, but not surprised. But that's Tamra's MO, man. She just talks past it. And there doesn't seem to be a lot of self-realization or actualization where she's looking at her own behavior or why people might say these things about her. And then to almost, kind of be a victim at the end of that of like, leave me alone, leave my family alone. It's like, man, we've watched you on so many seasons not leave other people's families alone. In fact, in the mid-season trailer, we know that you go hard on Jen Pedrante's fiance, Ryan, for whatever illegal activity he got himself into. You go hard on that. You pull out an FBI hat. So I sometimes think it's really bizarre when you'll when she goes online and like, leave me alone, stop talking about my family. And it's like, well, unfortunately, don't hate the player, hate the game. That's the game. This is the game. And Tamra knows the game. But all I think Tamra does when she does this is really make it very more likely for Vicki to come back full time. I think when you make this, when you blow this up like this, and then we all start talking about it, it just kind of creates this excitement. You can kind of use Alexis Bellino as an example as well. I think, maybe they were in talks for her to come back, as she says, but the John Jansen thing really sweetened the pot. So right now, I feel like Vicki is gunning for a slot. And at this point, I kind of would give it to her. I think it would be interesting. It's kind of been interesting to see her pop up a couple of times, and I'm excited to see where it goes for the rest of the season. But I wanted to share that with you guys. I thought you would appreciate it as much as I did, so hopefully you did. But I'm telling you, go watch that healing journey that that Tamara's going through right now. It's intense, man. I can't wait to wake up tomorrow and see where she's at. But like I said, it's all good because it's going to look fantastic when it's all done. Also, before we get to the guests, I wanted to let you know I'm on the new episode of Your Bish Therapist, BISH, hosted by Melissa Reich. It is a fantastic podcast. We recorded this a couple weeks ago. It was the morning of the year anniversary of Mom passing, and we were mainly going to talk about Orange County. And then Melissa asked if we could talk about that, and we got to have a very real and frank conversation about grieving, which I know I've been talking about a lot lately. But that's what part of my life is, so I'll talk about it. But anyways, go check that out. She's fantastic. Even if you don't want to hear this episode, go listen to her other episodes. Really, she has a very a great way about her. She's a great podcaster, so go support. And that's it, you guys. Let's get to our guest. I think you're gonna love her. I hope you love her. I know you will love her. And that's it, you guys. I'll talk to you bright and early on Thursday, and have a fantastic Wednesday. You made it halfway through the week.